The doctors had already said the word that shattered everything: permanent. And for a father who built billion-dollar companies from nothing, it was the first problem he couldn't fix with money. On a quiet winter evening in Toronto, snow pressed softly against the glass walls of the penthouse where Daniel Morrison stood staring at the city lights. As the CEO of one of Canada's fastest-growing tech firms, he was used to solving crises before sunrise. But inside his daughter's room, no strategy worked. No investment mattered. 14-year-old Emily hadn't spoken much since the accident on Highway 401. A distracted truck driver. Black ice. One violent spin. The doctors said the damage to her spine meant she would never walk again. The hospital room at Toronto General became their new world. Machines hummed. Nurses whispered. Outside, life in Ontario moved on. Inside, Emily's eyes slowly lost their spark. Daniel tried everything Canada's healthcare system and private specialists could offer. The best neurologists from Vancouver to Montreal. Experimental therapies in Calgary. Endless physiotherapy sessions. He flew in experts from the US. But hope doesn't respond to invoices. Emily stopped trying. One afternoon during a community rehabilitation session in Mississauga, Daniel noticed a man sitting quietly near the therapy mats. He wore worn-out boots and a Tim Hortons jacket. His hands were rough, his eyes tired but steady. Beside him sat a little boy in a wheelchair, laughing as he tried to toss a foam ball. The man caught Emily staring and gave her a gentle nod. Later, as Daniel adjusted Emily's blanket, he heard a soft voice behind him. "I'll help her." Daniel turned. The man extended his hand. "My name's Mark. I'm not a doctor, just a dad." Mark's son, Liam, had lost mobility in his legs after a rare infection 2 years earlier. Mark had been a construction worker in Scarborough before quitting to care for his son full-time. No big savings, no powerful connections, just stubborn love. Daniel almost dismissed him. He had heard countless promises. But something about Mark's calm confidence felt different. There was no sales pitch, no sympathy, just understanding. Over the next few weeks, Mark began visiting during Emily's therapy sessions. He didn't talk about miracles. He talked about small wins. The first challenge wasn't physical, it was emotional. Emily believed her life in Canada's snowy ski trips, school dances, and lakeside summers was over. She pushed everyone away, including her father. One afternoon, Mark rolled Liam next to Emily and said quietly, Liam wanted to give up too. But then he figured out something. Legs don't decide your future. You do. Emily didn't respond, but she didn't turn away either. Mark started teaching Emily and Daniel exercises he and Liam practiced daily, not just physiotherapy, but resilience routines. Cold morning affirmations, wheelchair basketball drills, upper body strength training in a small local gym in North York that donated space after hearing their story. Daniel watched something shift. For the first time since the accident, Emily asked to go back the next day. The second challenge came when Emily faced her old school friends. She was terrified. Canada's inclusive culture helped, but teenagers can still stare. Mark accompanied them the first day back. Not as a savior, but as quiet support. When a classmate awkwardly asked if she'd ever walk again, Emily's hands trembled. Mark leaned down and whispered, "Answer with who you're becoming, not what you lost." Emily looked up and said, "Maybe not. But I'm learning to play wheelchair basketball." The room fell silent. Then someone said, "That's actually kind of cool." It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't cinematic. But it was the first crack in the wall around her heart. Months passed. Snow melted into spring. Daniel stopped measuring progress in medical reports and started measuring it in smiles. He joined early morning practices. He pushed Emily through Hyde Park trails to build endurance. He listened more, worked less. Mark never asked for money, never hinted at needing help. He simply showed up. One evening after practice, Daniel finally asked him, "Why are you doing this?" Mark looked at Liam racing ahead in his chair, laughing in the golden sunset. "Because when this happened to us, someone showed up for my son. I couldn't pay him back. So I'm paying it forward." The final breakthrough didn't come with a miracle surgery. It came during a local adaptive sports tournament in Ottawa. Emily's team was down by 2 points. The gym echoed with cheers. Daniel's heart pounded like it used to before major corporate deals. Emily caught the ball, For a split second, doubt flickered across her face. From the sidelines, Mark whispered the same words he had said the first day. "I'll help her." But this time, he wasn't speaking to Daniel. He was speaking to Emily's courage. She took the shot. The buzzer rang. The ball dropped cleanly through the hoop. The crowd erupted. Daniel's vision blurred with tears he didn't try to hide. Emily didn't stand up. She didn't need to. She threw her arms in the air, laughing, a sound that hadn't filled their home in over a year. Later that night, as the city lights of Ottawa shimmered across the river, Daniel understood something no business school had ever taught him. Strength isn't built in boardrooms. It's built in broken places, by ordinary people who refuse to walk away. Mark never cured Emily. He helped her believe again. And sometimes, that's the greater miracle. If you're watching this and carrying something that feels permanent, remember this: hope doesn't always arrive wearing a white coat. Sometimes it shows up in worn boots, with tired eyes, and whispers exactly what you need to hear. "I'll help you." And that whisper can change everything.